Hey y'all, and welcome back to the full set review of the Universes Beyond Yu-Gi-Oh! Draft set. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the blue-black cards. Now, I'm going to go over the grading system and everything here in a sec, but if you already know all that stuff and don't need to hear it again, feel free to skip to the time code on screen. We're going to go over every card in the set one by one, and we're going to talk about the Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards that inspired each one of those, how we translated them into Magic the Gathering cards, and then we're going to discuss how good those cards are, and when should you pick them in a cube draft. At this point, we have all had a lot of experience with this cube, enough to tell you how and when you should play each of these cards. We're going to use a grading system that goes from A to F. This grading system is only meant to tell you how highly you should pick the cards while drafting. And the grades go as follows. A is a bomb that you should often first pick. It can either win the game on its own easily, or is a part of a powerful game plan that is worth getting into as fast as you can. B is a solid card that draws you into an archetype, or a deck type, or a card that can efficiently interact with your opponent. You should pick Bs very highly. Cs are the bread and butter of your deck. Once you have an idea of where you're going, finding the right C-level cards is an incredibly important part of creating a consistent deck that won't just lose to itself. Don't pick these cards super highly, but you do want to make sure you have the correct C-level cards for your deck. D, these are either cards that just don't perform as highly as you want them to, or cards that fit only in very specific deck types. Often these are kind of like C-level cards, but they only go into like one deck, or they're cards with just low overall impact. There is certainly a right time to pick these cards, but it isn't early and it isn't often. F is a grade that we only give to cards that you should pretty much never pick under any circumstances, and if we gave a card an F grade, it probably means we need to buff that card. So, if you're curious about the set and want to learn more, I have left a ton of resources in the description, including a visual spoiler website that's easy to navigate, a Google Drive with all the images so you can print the set yourself, and a link to our Discord server so you can join us when we draft the set. With all that in mind, I hope you all enjoy this series of deep dives into the Yu-Gi-Oh! Universe Beyond draft experience. Think of it like a podcast series, with each episode covering a different part of the set. We're going to go over all the two-color pairs first, then each monocolor group, and finally colorless cards. But first, a word from our sponsor, MythAtom.com. MythAtom is an online store focused on products designed around the media we love. From game accessories to jewelry and more, MythAtom uses creativity and understanding to recreate many of the most iconic elements of our favorite nerdy stuff. They sent me some really cool items that you should be able to see on screen right now. I got a really cool MTG Commander deck box with this amazing stained glass look on the green deck box. It's got a nice case and pocket for your commander to show off as well. Yes, my commander's Mathis the Friend Seeker. No, I will not answer any questions about the deck. MythAtom sells other cool deck boxes too, and sleeves and binders and playmats and tokens, I mean, you name it. All your classic gaming items and accessories. But what's even cooler than that is the other item they sent me. This metal Colossus hammer keychain. This thing is gorgeous and looks just like the one from the card art. I'm going to put that on screen right here. It's very sturdy and weighty, and it's just a really well-made piece. They have a ton of others like this too, whether they're keychains, rings, or necklaces. MythAtom has some of the coolest metalwork nerd relics I've ever seen in a shop like this. They also sent me some glamour shots of the Colossus hammer that we can all marvel at right now. Ooh. Ah. So anyway, if you want to get something neat from this store, they gave me a discount code that you can use at checkout. It's not good. All one word, at checkout, to get an extra 10% off your purchase. That's It's Not Good at checkout. Thanks MythAtom for sponsoring this video. Now back to it. So, blue-black. Blue-black is the archetype of this set.
Wizards.
It is wizards. And it is, I would say, one of the most powerful archetypes in the format because of how deep it is. And when we're talking about limited, what we mean by deep is even most of the commons in blue and black when you're building these kinds of decks are good and you want them. It has a lot of interaction, a lot of removal, and a lot of value. It doesn't always combo or do explosive things as well as other decks, but it doesn't matter because this is the deck that can answer those things the best. So in our experience, this is the deck that I think is the strongest, and that's okay. It's okay to have a strongest deck because the other decks are still good and can be played and can beat this deck. But I think it's kind of one of those things where be on the lookout and see if you can be in this deck. It's worth it. It's worth trying to be blue-black. It's very powerful. But yeah, it's focused in wizards, and it's an interaction-based deck. It's kind of what's going on here. There's a couple different ways you could find your win conditions, and if you watched the archetype breakdown video I did for this, you'll know that you could have a cheat deck where you reanimate things. You could have a wizard sort of control deck. You could have a emerge deck with this still, even though it's not green-white, it could still have the wizard's emerge deck. Or you could have Exodia, and all of these are great for blue-black. Whenever I ran the Thanksgiving draft, Exodia blue-black is what won the tournament. It was so good and so consistent. So let's go ahead and look at the cards in blue-black.
Blue-black Exodia won the Thanksgiving draft?
It did, yeah. The finals match was Exodia versus blue-white control, and the thing was, blue-white control couldn't interact with Exodia, and so she just lost to Exodia. It was crazy.
Sheesh.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, man, we don't have ways to interact with Exodia enough. That's kind of scary.
Yeah.
The Exodia deck does kind of lose to the Go Wide Warriors deck. It really does, but that's the deck that it really loses to. So, all right, so let's look at our blue-black cards. We got Dark Eradicator Warlock, which is a 7-star dark spellcaster effect monster with 2,500 attack and 2,100 defense. And it says it cannot be normal summoned or set, and it must be special summoned from your hand by attributing one Dark Magician. And it cannot be special summoned by other ways. Each time a normal spell card is activated, inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent immediately after it resolves. Sorry, I just like the way it says immediately.
Immediately, not tomorrow, not
yeah, do not wait. Breakfast. Okay.
Now.
Yeah.
So this one is from one of the early structure decks, when Konami didn't really know how to build structure decks. This was the boss monster for it. This didn't see much competitive play, but I remember, like, if you have to ask, I think I remember just some, Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro replays or like some old replays where some people used to make some first turn kills with this card because of
That's
course,
funny.
oh my god, you summon this guy and then you play 8 spell cards and you win. But of course, you need to somehow bring out the Dark Magician and then summon this and stuff like
that. It's a lot.
It was never good. It's like a ritual that requires, having a monster on field a specific
right. Let's look at the magic version, which is 5 and 2 blue-black hybrids for a 6/5 creature human wizard. It has emerge from wizard. This is the first time we're seeing it done this way. For 4 and a blue-black hybrid, that means you can emerge with this, but it has to be from a creature that is a wizard. It can't be from any old creature you want. Then it says, whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery spell, target opponent loses 2 life. Alright, so what's happening here is similar to Dark Eradicator Warlock. It's punishing your opponent for casting spells, but also benefiting you for casting spells, because this is when any player casts instant or sorcery. Dark Eradicator Warlock only works off of normal spells, so I don't even think it works off of continuous spells, does it?
Nope.
Yeah, so it has to be
off of the one spell type.
Yeah, spells that don't have a symbol on them, essentially, is what it works with. We have expanded it to work with all instants and sorceries, so that, whatever spell casting you're doing, you're making them lose life, punishes your opponent for it. If they try and use removal on this, they're going to lose 2 life at the very least. So it's got a nice little thing going on there. But overall, it's really not that powerful. The fact that you have to emerge from a wizard, this is harkening back to the fact that the original has to be tribute summoned has to be summoned by tributing a Dark Magician. This is kind of harkening back to that, but a lot of times you're going to be trying to find a wizard that is cheap and provides you value, and those do exist. There are enough of those that make this not too bad. Like if you have a 2-drop wizard, then on turn 3 you can cast this, have your 6/5 with a cool ability on it, but it's not generating you value, so you are still -1 on that interaction. Thankfully, the emerge cost is 2 less than the main mana cost, rather than only 1 less, like these typically are, and this is because of the specific emerge. So it's got upside. It's a random wizard, but pretty much I think you're only picking this if you need a wizard in your deck. You don't lean towards it. You don't pick it early. Never. You literally only are like, do I have enough wizards in my deck to meet the wizard cards I'm playing? If I don't, okay, I can pick this to add into my stack of wizards, right? If I have a fusion monster, for example, that needs me to have some wizards, okay, I might grab this wizard because sometimes I can cast it, other times I can use it for fusion. So it is super low pick. I think it's extremely interchangeable with a bunch of other wizards, and it's not super like highly something I would pick, but it is still good with the wizard deck. You still kind of want these kinds of cards.
Yeah.
So
I would say like this is a very good control win condition. Um, like you have this, and sometimes there's another card that in blue black that makes your opponent lose life, which is very powerful. And if you combine those two, you can like close out a game fairly well. This
yeah,
gives reach, as you called it.
yes, yes, it does. It's
Um,
got that late game
but
potential.
yeah, I would say this is a C. This is a solid C.
Yeah,
Like or maybe a D plus, I guess.
yeah. I think that's
You
where I'm
know?
going is D plus because I do think there are just better options at this rate.
Yeah.
It like again, even though it's a D plus, I think it'll definitely win games. It can definitely kill your opponent. It has that potential, but it's not super efficient. It asks you to have a specific creature type, and there are just other wizards that are high mana value that you're probably going to want to play over this usually. And I think that's why it goes down to a D plus, even though it has the capacity to really hurt your opponent. So D plus. Next up, we got Dark Magician Girl, which is a 6-star dark spellcaster effect monster with 2,000 attack and 1,700 defense. It says it gains 300 attack for every Dark Magician or Magician of Black Chaos in the graveyard.
And here we have probably the first childhood crush of every person who watched Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
This is the waifu tax or whatever.
Yeah, before that became
This
actually a
is,
common thing, yeah.
yeah, this is like one of the first, things that really made the whole Yu-Gi-Oh! And no, just like anime wife thing
Yeah,
go up. So yeah.
very funny. A lot of kids,
Um,
a lot of people have a lot of memories about this, yeah.
I'm not sure. I think like of course they had to censor. Yeah, I think this is the uncensored version because this has a pentagram too on it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah, she had to be changed too for the West and stuff like that. So it's an entire thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's look at the Magic version. So in Magic, Dark Magician Girl is 3 and 2 blue black hybrids for a creature, human, wizard. It's a 3/3. It has Emerge for 3 and a blue black hybrid, which is a very cheap Emerge. Be aware that that's super good. That's very easy to make it cost almost nothing, so you can like double spell in a turn or something. And it says this creature gets +1/+1 for each instant, sorcery, and wizard card in your graveyard. So unlike the other some of the other cards, or even unlike the original version of this card, it gives +1/+1, so it hits both stats. This is also because in Yu-Gi-Oh, when something's in attack position, its attack works as both its like power and toughness, right? So I was actually reflecting that. I didn't really want it to be +1/+0, but also we added instant and sorcery because part of the wizards thing going on is you can self mill to help you with some of the wizard effects. A lot of wizard effects care about your graveyard, pulling like instant sorceries back from your graveyard, buffing you like this one is based on the instant sorceries in your graveyard. And so I didn't want it to just be the Dark Magician Wizards thing going on, but also all the other cards you'll play with it. And you'll see a lot of the Dark Magician style cards care about instants, sorceries, and wizards all together. So, but in the end, this is just a huge beat stick. It just is a big creature, is what it will be usually. It'll be between a 5/5 and an 8/8 in most games, which is nice for the cost, but that's all it is. So, what are your thoughts, Aaron?
Yeah, I mean that's basically it. It's better than the Yu-Gi-Oh version for sure. The Yu-Gi-Oh
Yeah,
version um, was not played in Dark Magician for a long time, but then they of course needed to make a lot of support cards for Dark Magician Girl and Dark Magician because that's the iconic duo. And
right.
now there are a lot of cards that want you to play them together, and now they have like, if you have both of them together, destroy everything your opponent controls and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Um, But that's like the only reason that Dark Magician Girl is really played in Yu-Gi-Oh! And the Magic version seems a lot more, um, you get a lot more value a lot easier with
Yeah.
this because you just play the game and then you have like a big beat stick
Hmm.
out of nowhere, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also such a cheap emerge cost. I think that's the key part about this card is how cheap its emerge cost. It's also hybrid, so it can go any blue deck, any black deck. It's going to be able to provide you with advantage and value. Both blue and black decks play a lot of instants and sorceries in this format, and it's really good at taking advantage of those. And the thing about this, the way you play this card, as I mentioned in the actual archetype review for blue black wizards, the way you play this is the card you want your opponent to use removal on because it's just huge. It's just going to be big most of the time and kill them pretty quickly if they don't answer it, and it's just attacking. This is not really what your game plan is built around, but you like picking this card because it is a great way to put a first threat into play. That obviously, if they don't answer it, they're going to be in big trouble. But this is where their removal goes first. You're like, okay, I'll play this card to get their hard removal out, so that my next card can't be killed because they used their removal already. And it's very good at doing
Yeah.
that. At 5 mana, you're not crazy upset about paying 5 mana for this card if it's big enough. If you've already put some instant sorceries in your yard, which you likely have, but also getting to play this for 1 mana, right? Sacrifice a 3-drop, play it for 1 mana, and then leave up mana for a counterspell or something on your opponent's turn. That's how you play this card, right? You make it cheap using its emerge so that you can leave up an instant on your opponent's turn. That's part of, I think, the gameplay pattern that's the best with this card.
Oh yeah. Oh, and be like I would say this is like a C, just a
Yeah,
solid C card. Yeah, I'm happy. But be honest here. Did you notice the hearts in the background of Dark Magician Girl?
I did. I did. It's very cute.
Like a magic circle, and then behind that you have some.
Suddenly, oh wow,
Oh,
so
oh.
cute. Yeah, I agree. C, and this is a pretty good C, pretty solid C. Remember, we've been given some stuff, some lower grades than that, and I think that you will pick this at a C level. You will pick it above Dark Eradicator Warlock most of the time. I think it's going to get you
For sure.
farther and easier to play. Right, it can emerge from anything, so not just wizards like the other one, and it's cheap as hell when you do that, so super worth it. But again, make sure you have some sort of value you're getting off those emerges. Otherwise, you are costing yourself a little bit to do that. Okay, next card is Dark Magician of Chaos, which is a dark
Oh damn.
8-star spellcaster effect monster with 2800 attack and 2600 defense. During your end phase, if this card was normal or special summoned this turn, you can target one spell in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can only use this effect of Dark Magician of Chaos once per turn. If this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, after damage calculation, banish that opponent's monster. If this face-up card would leave the field, banish it instead.
Okay, so here's another card that was errated and was made worse, and that's why it's not
Yeah,
banned anymore.
yeah.
Um, Now, if you know the original version did not give you stuff back at the end phase. It gave you the stuff back immediately. It also
Immediately.
had no once per turn on it. So
Yep.
you would basically like summon it and resummon it and get back a spell card again and again, and usually find some way to kill your opponent on the first turn. That is a lot of what this card did.
It's
That is why
awesome.
it's infamous.
It's so
Yeah,
awesome.
it's just yeah, just kill it a million times and then bring back a million spells or whatever, and
It's
yeah,
so
do
sick.
stuff with that. Yeah, I think yeah, and
So-
I think the cool thing is that while as broken as this was in Yu-Gi-Oh, you can have this kind of thing in Magic without it being all that busted, which is
yeah.
very funny.
Mana costs really do a whole lot to give us those options. All right, let's look at the magic card. It is 6 and 2 blue black hybrids for a creature human wizard that's a 6/6. It has emerge for 6 and a blue black hybrid, and it says when this creature enters, return target instant, sorcery, or wizard card from your graveyard to your hand. This, I think, of these, hybrid interchangeable wizards, I think this is my favorite. I think this one is probably the best one, but it is important to note that it's also the most expensive one. It requires you to emerge for 7, and its main cost is 8. So it's asking you for some bigger creatures to sacrifice or some more mana to be invested. But the effect is nice, because if you sacrifice a wizard, you could just get that wizard back immediately. You can get back removal, and this creature is, by default, a 6/6. So it's not a bad size, either, for its cost. Of the three we've seen so far, this is the one I'm likely to pick the highest. The one that I like the most of these options. I think it's very flexible. Getting back removal is just always really good, especially in the blue-black wizards deck. But you can also get back a wizard that you need, another wizard that you're trying to find to be able to use. Just nice, good card. Kind of expensive mana-wise, but you sacrifice a 3-drop and it costs 4 mana. That's not too bad. If you play a 3-drop on turn 3 that has value built in, turn 4 you sacrifice it, get back a removal spell that you played on turn 2. That's money. That's not too bad. So I like this card a lot.
Money, fame.
Exactly. Thank you, Aaron. What are your thoughts on the card, though, Aaron?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's the best one of the ones we showed. Yeah, it's a C plus for me, because you play it, you get the immediate value back. I always love when you just get paid back something right away with the emerge, because that's like always the biggest thing that I've noticed in this format is that you just run out of gas, and that's the worst feeling. So having this like help you keep up the pressure and stay in the game, and also get a decent body for it. I think it's a C plus. I would play it in any honestly any blue black deck, but any wizard deck for sure.
Yeah, I agree. C plus. I would probably play it in almost any blue-black deck. I think maybe the only black deck I might not play this in is a zombies deck, where I have less instants and sorceries, and I'm not as guaranteed to have one to get back. And I obviously don't have wizards in that deck very often, but most blue or black decks I would play this card and be happy with it. So C plus for me as well. I really do enjoy this card a lot. Okay, next up, we've got the OG, the GOAT. Dark Magician.
The dude.
The one we all know from the show, from the thing.
The ultimate wizard in terms of attack and defense.
And in terms of attack and defense. Strange. Wait a second. Why are the attack and defense of Dark Magician of Chaos higher then? I'm confused. It lied.
An age-old question.
All right,
this has been memed. This has been memed to death and back. That this guy is the ultimate wizard in terms of attack and defense, and he is by no terms the ultimate wizard.
So he is a 7-star dark spellcaster normal monster with 2,500 attack and 2,100 defense. And we all know this guy. He's iconic as hell. He's got 1 million retrains and 1 million support cards made for the game because people like him so much. Any additional thoughts on that, Aaron?
Yeah, I think it was always really cool that like the Dark Magician was like the weaker monster next to the Blue Eyes White Dragon, and then there was always this kind of dynamic where the Dark Magician needed all these tricks and all these magic cards and illusions and all that stuff to basically make up for the fact that he's weaker than Blue Eyes White Dragon. And of course, it's a bit sad that the original monster never had an effect, but I'm very happy that we could basically give it that through our Magic retrain. Yeah, I
agree. Yeah, I love that. And in Magic, it's 5 blue-black for a 6/5 creature human wizard. It has Emerge for 5 and a blue-black hybrid. And it says, when this creature enters, you may cast target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. If that spell will be put into your graveyard, exile it instead. I love this card. It's really good. It is better than Dark Magician of Chaos in a lot of ways. It's cheaper. Your emerge cost is lower, and it casts the instant or sorcery immediately if you wanted to. You don't always want to do that, right? If you get back a counterspell, you're probably not trying to cast it immediately. But if you try to hard cast this, it has to be a blue-black card. But overall, I like that this card is as good as it is. A free Snapcaster trigger, essentially, if you're a Magic player, is amazing. It doesn't have flash, but it does do quite a lot of good stuff. As long as you already have something in there. There's so many instant or sorceries that are worth playing from this ability that don't even have to cost a lot of mana. Like, Confiscation is like Thoughtseize in this set. And if I play my Dark Magician and then Thoughtseize you, I still feel good about that. That still feels like a pretty good exchange. So, but then you could go way bigger. Like, you could play Advanced Draw and draw 4 cards. There's a couple of cards in this set that really go out of their way. what is it, Dark Renewal or whatever, like some crazy shit you can do that are really good with Dark
Yeah.
Magician. Dark Magician originally was just Surveil 3, draw a card. That was so much less entertaining and interesting than this right here, which is super cool, super powerful. And if you emerge this for cheaper, it's even better. It gets you your value right away as long as you have a target for it as well, which is something we've been talking about is very important for emerge creatures, is to get that value right away from either end of it. And this definitely does that. So what are your thoughts, Aaron?
Yeah, I agree with that point as well with the change that we made at the very start. I feel this was one of the first changes, I think, from making the Dark Magician surveil to actually giving him an ability that has to do with casting spells
Mm-hmm.
and emulating that feel of, oh my God, he's casting an illusion, or he's like the Thousand Knives and the Dark
Yeah.
Magic Attack and all that, and it's like perfect. It was on the nose, and yeah, really happy it got that. It's also just a super powerful effect. And as you said, there is some crazy stuff. There is one card in specific that I cannot believe we left the way that it is, but it is specifically made to interact with Dark Magician, and it is fucking nuts. And that is, yeah, yeah, I can just say it's dedication through light and darkness, I
It
think.
is a crazy
So,
card.
yeah, you can use it with Dark Magician, and you can draw like 5 cards with
It's
it, I
4, but
think.
yes.
So yeah, it's basically 5 cards.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and yeah, so this card always has value. This card always does something. This is like for me, as it doesn't seem like it, but for me, this is honestly an A because
Wow.
this is honestly like something you play it in every blue or black deck, and if you get any instant or sorcery and cast it for free, you're happy with it.
Mm.
That's
It is
that's my
still a
kind of
big. It still costs 7 mana if you're not emerging, which you're not going to do. You are going to emerge this most of the time,
yeah,
but that does mean, again, you got to have something to sacrifice to be able to play this at a reasonable time in the game,
yeah.
which is why I don't think I put it at like A level. I think I'll give it a B plus because it is really good, and I will pick this very highly. But it on its own has a hard time just like taking the game. And I think the
That's
key
true.
part of that is not that it needs to be able to do a bunch of shit on its own to be allowed to get the A status, but I think it's that, you know, it costs 7 mana if you don't emerge it. Therefore, you're probably not casting it for 7 mana, which means this card is asking you to always sacrifice a creature to be able to cast it, and then you have to have an instant or
However,
sorcery in your
however,
graveyard.
However, if you do cast it for 7 mana late in the game, you probably already have some instant or sorcery in your graveyard that's
And
more
you
than
probably
three
don't feel
mana.
bad about that. That's one of those
Yeah,
things. Yeah,
that's
this is definitely an emerge card where if you cast it for its full mana cost and you're at that point in the game where you can, you don't feel bad. You're like, yeah, of course, I'm fine with doing this. I'll pay seven
yeah,
mana for this. So it does have that, and that's why I want to give it a B plus. But I could see higher. I could totally see higher, but I like B plus for this one because it still technically is asking some things of you that mean you can't
yeah.
play it
It's
really early on in the game and get value, right? Even though
yeah, that is true.
you can sometimes play this on turn 3. Sometimes, usually it's turn 4 is your soonest playing this, and a lot of times when you cast it on turn 4, you're not. Will you have an instant or sorcery that you can cast from your graveyard? Yeah, maybe, but maybe not, right? So something to always keep in
Yeah.
mind is that while this card is so good and so efficient at what it does, it's not getting cast really
Mm.
early, really efficiently. It is a mid-game card, and so I think that's why I put it at B
Yeah.
plus because when it happens, it's incredible, but you can't do it until later. So, all right,
Yeah, I think the interesting thing for me is just that the effect, it on first glance it doesn't seem the most broken thing of all time, but in practice, it almost always does something crazy,
yeah.
and that's why it's A for me.
Okay, A for you, B plus for me. We're doing pretty good on this card.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Angmarl, the Fiendish Monarch. So here's the blue-black Monarch, and it has 6-star Dark Fiend Effect monster. It is 2400 attack, 1000 defense, like all Monarchs are. And it says when this card is tribute summoned, you can banish one spell card from your graveyard, and then you add one card with the same name as the banished spell card from your deck to your hand.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. This mark is like the third time they made a Dark Monarch.
They did, yeah.
Yeah, this is like the third. You had Caius, and then you had Delg, the dark. The Shadow Monarch, then the Dark Monarch, the
Then the
Fiendish
Fiendish
Monarch.
Monarch, they're
You
all the
know,
same thing.
yeah. This guy, I honestly think this is still like one of the middle ones, like before they made the modern Monarch support. Um, but not one of the old ones, you know.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone ever played this card. I think this is like one of those. I'm glad that it's like finding a space in this set just as a retrain, because otherwise I don't think anyone would ever play this card.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
and its effect is really specific, so like it's not, yeah.
yeah,
But in Magic, it's 4 blue black for a 5/4 legendary creature Monarch horror. That its merge cost is 3 blue black. It has ward, pay 3 life, so that's its keyword ability. And then it says, when it enters, if you cast it, search your library for an instant or sorcery card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Boy, did we upgrade its effect by a lot. It just tutor any instant or sorcery. You're good to go. Just get whatever you need. It's great. um,
Oh, what was the original?
oh no, I'm saying compared to the Yu-Gi-Oh version, this is like way
Oh
better.
yeah, right.
Yeah. Um,
That's
this
true.
has
Yeah.
seen tons of play. We have played this a lot. Every time this gets picked in a draft, it gets played as well. It doesn't remain on anyone's sideboard ever because it's really good. This being able to search up that instant or sorcery like that gets you exactly the answer you need for your opponent's thing. Or if you need card advantage, you go get your draw spell or your dedication through light and darkness card if you need that at the time. Or you just get your
Yeah.
tutor cards to get other cards, like get your dark renewal if you're ready to go get your wizards, or if you're playing with Exodia, you can go get some of the stuff that finds your Exodia pieces. It's so flexible and so good on a body like this. Like, I'd pay 6 mana for this, not worry about it, but you can emerge and pay 2 mana for it, and it's amazing. Huge fan. This is
Yeah.
one of, maybe not the best Monarch in the set, but one of the best Monarchs in the set. It's so good.
Yeah, honestly, like the fact it is just a 5/4 without real evasion, but it does, annoy your opponent if they try to get rid of it, is also nice. But just the fact that you can like search up an instant or sorcery in blue and black is very strong. And yeah, I wouldn't say it's like I still prefer my Dark Magician
Sure,
hybrid,
sure.
because that one's got, flashiness and everything. But I'd give this a solid B to B plus.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think I'd give it an A minus. But I think, to be clear, if this was in different colors, if it wasn't blue black, I wouldn't give it that high of a grade. I would give it a lower grade, somewhere around B minus. But I'm giving it an A minus based on our experiences with it and how good it has been in all of the decks that play it. So something to be just aware of. The grades can change based on the context they're in, even if their abilities in a vacuum might seem like it's one grade, because in the context of blue black, that's such a strong ability. For me, it puts it up to A minus. So huge
Yeah,
high
makes
pick
sense.
card. I would first pick this card easily because any deck that can cast it is happy with it. It doesn't matter what your strategy is. I am happy to cast this card in any blue black deck, no matter what my other colors are, or if I'm straight blue black. It's awesome. So yeah, I'm giving it A
True.
minus.
Yeah, I'm
All
giving
right.
it B plus. The cool thing too is like look at that artwork though.
Yeah, that's sick. Sick
Yeah,
artwork.
it's
All right.
it's it's sad that the guy never got played in
I
like
know.
actual Yu-Gi-Oh, because
Sucks to see cards with great art not seeing any play. I always hate that.
oh yeah, tell me about it.
All right, let's get to the blue black ritual. So, black magic ritual. This is a ritual spell that says this card can be used to ritual summon Magician of Black Chaos. You must also tribute monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal 8 or more.
Yeah, I mean, with ritual spells, it's pretty much mostly the same for the first 10 years of their development or so.
Mm-hmm.
Interestingly, with this one is, of course, there was the big confusion with, wait, Magician of Black Chaos, Black Magician of Chaos, Dark Magician of Black Chaos.
With all this,
You know,
the interchangeable names, you can't figure out which one's which. Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, it's the same guy. It's
Yeah.
just one is an effect monster and the other is just a ritual guy. But yeah, if we're talking about the rituals in general, they're all the same. And
Yeah.
for the magic versions, we didn't do it much differently. This is
Yep.
just the same as the other ritual spell. But um, Yeah, it probably gets a similar grade because you
Yeah.
can like fetch the guy, the monster, but you can also use it as a tutor. You just have
Yep.
like five different tutors in the set.
Yeah, and this one is one blue black for a sorcery ritual. Its ritual cost is 6 mana value that you need to tribute or sacrifice or discard for blue black hybrid paying. And then you search your library for a blue or black creature card, reveal it, put it in your hand, and shuffle. Then you may put a card named Magician of Black Chaos from your hand onto the battlefield. Tap, just like the other ones. If you can do it turn one, that's really strong. Being able to go grab this guy and put him into play on turn one. I will say that this one, I would say, as far as your turn one play, is a little bit weaker than Blackluster Soldier. I don't think that'll affect my grade, but I do think that this one's a little bit better if you can play it on a turn when you ritual summon and then cast another spell from your hand or another thing. That's or you hold up a counter spell or something like that. That's usually when it's going to be good, but it's great at doing that. So I will give it the grade when we talk about Magician of Black Chaos, but it's going to be pretty much the same as Blackluster Soldier because it is pretty good.
Yep.
All right, so let's look at Magician of Black Chaos then. He is 8-star Dark Spellcaster Ritual monster with 2800 attack, 2600 defense. And you ritual summon him with the Black Magic Ritual. Pretty straightforward, but the one thing I want to point out is, yeah, this is the same character on Dark Magician of Chaos. It's the same person. So that's where, as Aaron was saying, the confusion came in. Like, which one are you talking about? But let's look at
also
the magic
got retrains
card.
of him, of course. You know.
Oh yeah, tons. He's iconic as well. I used to have a little action figure of this guy actually, a long time ago.
Oh
Okay,
yeah, it's like Dark Magician's pal buddy. I don't know.
yeah, something like that. A Magician of Black Chaos costs 3 blue black for a 3/4 creature human wizard that when this creature enters, if it wasn't cast, so like if you're ritual summoning it or reanimating it, you may cast an instant sorcery or wizard card from your hand with mana value 3 or less without paying its mana cost. It's important that you note it's from your hand with that trigger. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery or wizard spell with this trigger, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature, then draw a card. This triggers only once per turn. So, if I ritual summon this creature out, then I can put a 3-drop into play, wizard, or cast a 3 or lower cost instant sorcery, which will immediately trigger his other ability, put a +1/+1 counter, and draw a card. So, yeah, I guess playing this on turn 1 is still really crazy. Like, super good. You get your 4/5. Yeah, you get your 4/5 draw a card, put a dude into play. Yeah, this card's pretty great too. It's very powerful.
But the crazy thing too is like if you already have the Magician of Black Chaos in hand and the ritual, then you use the ritual to tutor the thing
that you want to put into play. Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, this card's really good. And he plays very well. Similar to Blackluster Soldier, but maybe even more so with this one. You can play it without the Chaos Ritual. What it was called? Black Magic Ritual. Is that what it is? Yeah, Black Magic Ritual.
Yeah.
You can play this without that, and it's pretty good still. 5 mana is certainly a lot, and so if you can like reanimate this or blink it, it's way better in those contexts. But it's still pretty good. It's a draw card engine. That's one of the things that it does. It is a creature that puts pressure and draws cards. That's really, really good. Your blue-black decks are really going to want this. So I actually pick this very highly in my blue-black decks. And then if I can get the ritual, awesome. Sounds great. I want that ritual with it. But if I can't get the ritual, I'm still happy playing this card. I think it's a pretty darn good card. So I'm happy with this one. Big fan of it. I give it pretty high pick rate. I pick it pretty early.
Does Dark Renewal put the thing into play? Because if that's the case, this is actually even crazier. There are some ways to get wizards into the field. So
Dark Renewal puts it into your hand.
That's right. Anyway, for me, it's also like a B+ because even if you pay 5 mana for it, the stats suck. But as soon as you get one trigger off of it, you're happy with it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm B+ as well, and it's mostly I'm putting B+ rather than something higher because if you're hard casting it, 5 mana. If you play it on turn 5, your opponent has a chance to kill it without you getting anything out of it, which can be bad. And otherwise, having to leave up, having to wait till turn 6, 7 to even leave up the extra mana you'd need to protect it or to get the trigger out of it can be difficult to do. It means you're pushing yourself way later in the game. But it's still great. Still fantastic card. I don't really feel bad about that. I'm definitely gonna go B plus on this, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Next blue-black card is going to be Dark Magic Curtain. And in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's a spell card that says pay half your life points. Special summon one Dark Magician from your deck. You cannot summon other monsters the turn you activate this card. But you can set. I do love that.
This, yeah, but you can set, just so you know.
Just so you know.
This is one of the first Dark Magician support cards, I think. Like before there was modern magic, like modern Dark Magician support, there was the old stuff. There was Thousand Knives, Dark Magic Attack, and this card, right? And yeah, because it was so old, like I think it was um, probably like around the time the anime episode aired, a bit later maybe. Because it is so old, they needed to give it like this really strong drawback, or they thought they did.
Yeah.
So now you pay like 4,000 life points and summon your Dark Magician. You can't play anything else. I don't think this saw any sort of good play because back then, of course, you couldn't even play Dark Magician. Dark Magician wasn't a deck until like 2016 or something.
Yeah.
So,
It's very
so
funny.
you wouldn't play it, but this is yeah, a very unique card for its time and cool looking.
Yeah. But in Magic, it actually is very similar. In Magic, it's 3 blue black for a sorcery that says an additional cost to cast the spell, pay half your life rounded down. Then it says, search your library for a wizard card and put it onto the battlefield. Then shuffle, end the turn. So, this card, first blush, you read it and you go, wow, this card's crazy. Any wizard I want, put it right onto the battlefield. That's amazing. Let's go look at our wizards. Oh, yeah, Magician of Black Chaos. Oh, it's totally going to trigger its ability. Angmar's not a wizard. Dark Magician. Let's go get Dark Magician and put it into play. So, and this has been hotly contested about why the way this card's designed, but because it says end the turn, any triggers that go on the stack are countered. They don't actually happen. So, and I could see an argument that this card should not do it that way, and it just shouldn't end the turn. But the thing is this card is, without the end of the turn clause, is kind of insanely powerful. And being able to just do it with any wizard from your deck, I don't know, it does seem kind of over. Even though you're paying half your life, I don't think that's as crazy of a cost as it looks. Like, you're in the point of the game where it's not really going to matter as much a lot of the time. Aggressive decks can punish you for it. Red decks with burn can punish you for it. But overall, the amount of tempo you gain from being able to just slam your best wizard from your deck into play is crazy. And so I wanted to restrict it to only wanting you to use certain wizards. And we will see at least one of them, like, after this card. And then we'll see another one later on. But, you know, I could be told that because, and this is the awkward part, because it's bad with Dark Magician, that maybe it shouldn't end the turn so that you can actually still get things like Dark Magician. Because if you get Dark Magician with it, you don't get his trigger.
What about unless that card is the named Dark Magician at the turn? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I could be argued to remove end the turn. Obviously, if I do that, I'd have to put, exile this spell. When you put end of the turn on a card, it actually does exile itself. So Dark Magic Curtain does exile itself already. But I want to make sure you can't just go Dark Magic Curtain, get Dark Magician, cast Dark Magic Curtain again from my graveyard. Like, I don't want that. Sounds fun, but it sounds a little bit too good. It's already kind of a crazy card. If you get the right cards with it, it's already really good. There's like 2 or 3 really good creatures that you can get with it, and a couple of medium creatures you can get with it. And we'll see one of the best ones here pretty soon. I could definitely be convinced to remove the end of the turn from it and just let it be that much more powerful, but, we'll see. What are your thoughts, Eric?
If we grade it if we grade it the way it is right now, I would say this is a B minus because you do need specifically good wizards to cheat into play with this. There are some really busted ones, but like most of them, you pay 5 mana, you pay half your life, you get a guy that doesn't do much,
It's just stats, yeah.
Yeah, it's just stats. So I would say like honestly like B minus to C plus. But then there is of course like the freaking wizard uh shadow wizard money gang, you know?
Yeah.
Um
Dark Sage, we'll talk about him. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and then and if you cheat those guys into play, of course you're gonna have a good time. So
Yeah.
yeah, I confident maybe B minus, you know?
I'm going to
Go
give this
around.
card. This is one of the cards that you plan around. This is a game plan creator. It creates game plans for you, right? You pick this card and you go, okay, if I get one of the cards that is good with this card, I'm good to go. If I don't, I'm not going to play this card. And I don't mind that. I think in the draft, that's interesting and fun. I think if we remove the end of the turn, it then becomes an incredibly high pick. It then becomes kind of an A plus card, and if you see it, you pick it. And I think that that was what I was trying to avoid. Because the original one has a downside, and so I wanted this to also have that other sort of get rid of your other options for the turn downside. Um, that downside also countering the triggers you get from many of these cards, meaning you have to play it with a card that its power is not in its enters trigger, right? And I think that's
Yeah.
interesting. It's an interesting puzzle to make your players solve, and so that's why I'm fine with it being this way. But the main argument that has made me think about removing it and letting it be an even more powerful card is the fact that it doesn't work with Dark Magician, and that is such a disappointment to have this card that
But
in Yu-Gi-Oh literally
I mean,
summons Dark Magician not work with it.
but the thing is, like the original Dark Magician didn't have an ability in the anime, you know,
Hmm.
so it was like it didn't have this problem in Yu-Gi-Oh
Yeah,
because you just summon the Dark Magician and then you have the guy.
yeah,
Um, I think I think it's fine that it ends the turn. It's just yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna give it like a C, C plus maybe, and I think
Mhm.
that you actually are supposed to pick this early, but the amount of times you pick it but then don't run it is probably higher than you'd expect. I think there's a lot of times where you'll pick this card and go, okay, this could be my game plan. If I find Dragoon or I find Dark Sage, which are the main cards you want with this card, then this is going to be amazing. But if I don't find Dark Sage or Dragoon, then I just don't put it in my deck, right? That's definitely what I expect
I
to happen. I pick this,
I know for a fact.
yeah,
Dude, I know for a fact a bunch of people are gonna have a heart attack by you saying the name Dragoon, you know? It's
yeah,
so
yeah,
good.
just already jump scaring them. Yeah, they're like, ah, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
So, but those are the cards you get with this, and if you don't get those cards, you don't play it. But I think I still pick it pretty early. When I see it, I pick it a lot. But when I pick this card, I play it maybe half or less the time that I pick it, because I just don't get there, right? And I think that's reasonable way to keep this card. I like it working that way because it's such a sick game plan with those cards. Um, but if enough people in the comments tell me, or in our Discord tell me, I will consider removing it. Quentin has been an advocate for removing the end of the turn so that it works with all those cards. Or Quentin
Quentin
has
just
been,
likes playing Blue Black Wizard.
I know he does. And he's also been an advocate for changing it to where it lets you get the trigger and then it ends your turn, which it's not that different. It's like, might as well not end the turn at that point. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the next card. I'm giving this card like a C ish, somewhere on the C, something like that. Okay,
Yeah.
here is the card you get with it, though. So, Dark Sage costs, or sorry, Dark Sage is a 9-star? Is that 9 stars? Yeah. Is a 9-star
Yeah.
dark spellcaster effect monster with 2,800 attack and 3,200 defense. It's got a big butt. Um, it
And it
cannot
has
be.
one of the funniest text boxes in Yu-Gi-Oh! I
It
feel like.
does have a funny text box. I love this. It's not the only one. The Thousand Dragon has this too, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Go ahead.
Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must first be special summoned from your hand or deck by tributing one Dark Magician immediately after applying the effect of Time Wizard in which you called the coin toss right. When special summoned this way, add one spell card from your deck to your hand. It's so silly. Uh,
It's just if you oh my God,
if you
I just have to imagine someone who is never like he doesn't know the context of this and who just reads this and is like, after applying the after calling the
What?
coin toss
What are
right?
you
What the
talking about?
what is this?
What is Yu-Gi-Oh as a game? I don't understand what
Yeah,
I'm looking at. It is really funny.
yeah.
Obviously the context is cool, like flavor wise. It's like the Time Wizard ages up your Dark
The,
Magician to become a
the
wise souled
context the
sage.
context the context is Yugi having really big plot armor. That's the
Oh, for
context.
sure. Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, Yugi versus Joey and the big battle, and Joey uses the card that Yugi gave him to really decide the battle, and then at the end it turns out, well, actually, my Dark Magician actually is just
Actually,
older now. It's
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 so
actually
funny,
just
dude.
older, and that's why it's wiser, and
And now it gets me a
like
card from my
he's
deck. So
it's like
good.
the exact thing that a 5-year-old would come up with
And that's why
to
it
make
was
sure
so
my deck.
sick. That's why it was so sick. That's why he's the GOAT. So good. Let's look at
That's
the
why I
Magic
love my
version.
children's card games. Yeah.
Yeah. So Dark Sage costs 4 blue, blue, black, black. That's 8 mana for a 6/8 creature human wizard. And who wouldn't you know it? It has, whenever you win a coin flip from the ability of a card named Time Wizard. See, I did it. I did it. You may
Yeah.
sacrifice
I'm
a
proud.
blue or black wizard. So that's the tributing the Dark Magician part. When you do, cast the spell from outside the game without paying its mana cost. So that's the difference here. This card let you, paired with Time Wizard, cast it from your extra deck or your sideboard instead of your actual deck or hand. That's the big difference here with the way that it works. It's pretty silly. It's a pretty silly ability. It'll if you ever do it, if anyone here ever does it, please let me know. I need to hear that someone's actually done it this way. But that's not how you're doing Dark Sage. Dark Sage, you are either paying 8 mana, which I mean that's sometimes I guess that's pretty rare, or you are cheating this into play. Now, you can reanimate it. There are cards that let you just put a wizard from your hand into play, or you're using Dark Magic Curtain. So let's read what we get for cheating this into play. It says, at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, search your library for an instant or sorcery card and cast it without paying its mana cost, then shuffle. So, with Dark Magic Curtain, you put this into play, end your turn, go to your opponent's upkeep, cast an instant or sorcery from your deck. This lets you do it immediately, for free, every time, at each of your opponent's upkeeps. It's awesome, and this is one of the 2 really good cards to pair with Dark Magic Curtain that work really well with them. What are your thoughts, Aaron?
Yeah. This thing, like when you have it out, it is worthy of being an 8 mana guy.
Yeah.
Of course, it's kind of sad that it dies easily, but um, as long as this is like when we talked about Abyss Dragon and how it like snowballs
Yeah.
over time. This is the cracked version of this.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah,
Abyss
every
Dragon
turn
puts
you
it in your
just get to cast
hand.
yeah, this just instantly obliterates anything your
Yeah.
opponent wants to do, and draws you a million cards. And every turn, it is more and more unlikely that your opponent has a chance of winning.
Yeah.
Just cast like a 5 mana spell for free or something, and watch them cry, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, like the 8 mana is not unreasonable. Like I would honestly expect something like this to cost 9 mana or something. 8 mana is still castable, you know.
Uh,
The thing you're getting
it
for this, the thing,
it
yeah.
it is castable, yes, but not really. Like, so you will cast this some games for sure, but you can't ever really rely on 8 mana. So what I mean by that is,
Oh
I
yeah,
don't I
and
don't think you should put this in your deck if you don't have another way to get it into play. But if it is in your deck, there are definitely going to be games where you pay 8 mana for it, and that's okay. It's worth paying 8 mana for, but it's not worth putting in a deck that can't cheat it into play, particularly in this format. You need to be getting that full powerhouse play out of it. But it is a powerhouse. If you reanimate this card, like you put it into play from your graveyard for 2 to 5 mana, depending on the card you're using to reanimate it, it's awesome. It's sick. If you put it into play from your hand for free, it's awesome. It's sick. You get it into play with Dark Magic Curtain or whatever, or Black Magic Curtain, whatever it is, Dark Magic Curtain. It's amazing. It's super sick in those scenarios. So as long as you have a way to cheat it into play, this is awesome, and it is a game plan, right? As I was talking about before, having cards that you can build game plans around, this is absolutely one of them. I would 100% want to pick this card fairly early to make sure I have those game plan options open to me, just because it's one of the cards in the set that pays you off so much for cheating it into play that I pick it pretty highly.
Oh yeah, I think one of the deceptive things about it is that because every other 7 mana or 8 mana card in the set has emerge, it seems very easy to cast them.
Yeah.
This one doesn't. This one
Right.
doesn't. So often when you have like a 7 mana guy out and on turn 5 or something, it's still gonna take you like 3 or 4 turns to get to Dark Sage, for 8 mana. So
Yeah.
just keep that in mind. This thing does not have emerge like 90% of every other thing here.
Yep. And I think when we're looking at cards like, Dark Magician here, we're seeing 7 mana, but you're not casting it for 7 mana most of the time. So that's why we're able to give it much higher grades and talk about it like you're going to play it normally in most of your games. Whereas Dark Sage, this is why I say you have to be able to cheat this into play for it to be worth it. Because Emerge, in and of itself, Emerge is letting you cheat things into play earlier. That's what those cards do. This one doesn't have that built in, so you gotta have something in. And that Time Wizard thing doesn't count. It doesn't. The Time Wizard thing is for fun, it's for silly, it's for flavor, and it's cool if it happens, but that's not what you're building your deck to do. Even if you get Time Wizard, you're not doing that, right? So,
Yeah.
just something to be aware of with this card. But I love it. I will still pick it very highly. I will give it, I would give it a B+. I'd give it a B+ because if you can cheat it into play, you get Dark Magic Curtain, you get any of the other ways to cheat this into play, it's just so insane. Like, it's so incredibly good. It is one of the best. It and Dragoon are like the best cards to cheat into play in the whole set, right? These are some of the absolute best cards to cheat into play. And so that's why I'm like, yeah, maybe I even put it higher. Maybe I put it as A-, right? And we're just assuming that you can cheat it into play. If you can cheat it into play, awesome, you should pick this. And I think you should pick this pretty early. If you see it in a pack, you can go, just like with Dark Magic Curtain, you can go, okay, I'm going to pick this, and I won't play it if I can't cheat it, but now that I've picked it, I'm on the lookout for the cards that let me cheat it into play. And there are more cards that let you cheat this into play than there are Dark Sages, right? There's one Dark Sage. So you should probably pick it pretty early if you think this could be a game plan for your deck.
I don't want to give it a C because it's not, that's like the most boring grade for this kind of card.
I can't believe you were thinking about giving it such a low grade.
No, the only reason is because you need the way to cheat it out because otherwise you're not doing it. So otherwise it can just be a dead card stuck in your hand.
True. I want to give it.
What stops me from giving it.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't give it such a high grade because of that. But I'm just thinking about when I see it in my pack one, pick one, right? I see it in my. I would pick it. I would absolutely first pick this in my first pack because I'm like, I can make this happen. I now have the time to find the cards that can make this happen, and it's super worth it when I do. Like, I get paid off huge for making it happen.
Make Dark Sage happen.
You're right.
Stop
you're right.
trying to make Dark Sage happen. No,
Maybe I give it a B. Maybe I give it a B to be reasonable with it. But it is such a good game plan. I've seen it go crazy. So.
Yeah. I'll say B- because I don't want to give this flashy card a C.
Fine. All right. Next card is Magician Navigation, which in Yu-Gi-Oh is a trap card that says special summon one Dark Magician from your hand, then special summon one level 7 or lower Dark Spellcaster monster from your deck. If you control Dark Magician, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one face-up spell or trap your opponent controls, and negate its effects until the end of turn.
So this is one of the first modern Dark Magician support cards that really gave it a lot of power. Like, this card does so much.
It does.
It summons 2 cards in one, and it, as you can see, like Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl, and then it's also a negate. Like, this card is to this day played in most Dark Magician decks, I think.
It's really good, really good. In Magic, it is 5 blue black. It's a big 7 mana is a lot. For an instant, that says put up to 2 wizard cards from your hand onto the battlefield. But, and you might be going, okay, 7 mana, put 2 of them into play. I guess that's fine, but that's a lot of mana. It is instant speed, but it's like, yeesh. I will explain how this card gets played, how you play this card. But if you're worried, it has channel, blue-black, discard this card from your hand to counter target non-creature spell. So you can hold this in your hand, use it as a negate whenever you need to. You can just, that's what it's there for. That's the main use of the card, actually, is that you will hold it as a negate. But what it's letting you do, see, all of your wizards are creatures. None of them have flash. So your wizards, you have to play on your turn, right? So you play them at sorcery speed. Well, if you play your wizards out at sorcery speed, you cannot hold up mana for removal and counterspells when you do that. What this card is letting you do is you'll have a negate early on if you need it, but then later on in the game when you get up to 7-ish mana or something like that, you'll have the option of holding up your interaction with your opponent, and then if they don't do anything, or anything you need to answer, you then just go 7 mana, put my big threats I've been holding in my hand into play, and then untap and go kill you with my counterspells and removal up as mana. That's how it works. Because it's instant speed, it lets you leave up your mana like every turn without having to develop your threats and risk being tapped out on a turn when you don't want to be tapped out. This is a way to cheat Dark Sage into play, although you're only getting a 1 mana discount. But because you get to put 2 things into play, you'll put your Dark Sage and something else into play with it if you wanted to. But letting you do it at instant speed means you're not vulnerable, right? You don't ever have to go shields down, and then you have the buyout of a 2 mana negate. I think the card is pretty nice. It's a pretty nice card. What are your thoughts, Aaron?
Yeah, I mean, counterspells in limited are always like a difficult story.
Yeah.
But I would say this is still like any wizard deck is happy to play this because it's just, you know, you can keep it up, and then late game it can be a kind of win condition if you really want to.
Yeah. I will say
this is like.
Okay, go ahead.
I would say this is like I wouldn't say it's like the biggest oh my god amazing card. I'd say it's a C+, honestly.
I was going to give it a C-. And I think you're picking this card when you're already in Wizards. You already know you're deep into Wizards. You definitely are playing Wizards. That's pretty much the only time you pick this. You're not picking this any other time. It's kind of like a support card for the deck that plays Dark Magic Curtain, and the deck that plays Dark Sage, and the deck that plays Dragoon, right? It's the support card for that deck, where it's like, this is, oh, I got the card in my hand instead of in my deck. Okay, this card can put it into play if I need to at my opponent's turn, but I can hold up this negate. It's not crazy powerful. It's just because it's so much mana to actually get that effect to happen, but it is a useful kind of tool in your toolbox in that sort of deck. Negates like this can be useful, right? Countering spells in limited, the higher power level the limited format is, the better a counterspell is. So do remember that, Aaron. Your counterspells get better the more power there is in your format you're playing, which is why in typical limited they're not very good, but as you play in more constructed formats they get a lot better. Your limited formats reflect this, where if your opponent's doing more broken things, you're going to want these kinds of counterspells. And so this is able to negate like a card that would reanimate, or a card that would cheat something into play that your opponent has, and it has that capacity. But again, I'm not putting it super high. Sure. I'm going to give it C-, maybe D+, actually, because it's so specific where you want this. I'm not excited to pick this in my pack. I'm not going crazy over it. I'm just like, oh, I'm in Wizards already. All right, sure, this could fit in. This could help me out a little bit.
Yeah, I guess I'd say C. The one thing with the countering stuff too is like, yeah, that's true, but there's also like a lot of the broken stuff that happens in the set is creature based, because this is Yu-Gi-Oh! And a lot of creature shenanigans is abound. So yeah, I'd say pretty decent card.
Yeah. I'm going to go with D+, I think, because I think I even more so, you're right. Most of your broken stuff is creatures, but a lot of your ways to cheat the broken creatures into play is often going to be non-creatures, so it's in a balance. But anyway, next card. is going to be Musician King, which is a 5-star light spellcaster fusion monster with 1700 or 1750 attack and 1500 defense. You fuse it with Witch of the Black Forest and Lady of Faith. I have no idea how those two created the Musician King, but whatever.
I mean, look, those are the groupies, I guess. I don't know.
I guess.
No, yeah, this is like this is another emblematic thing for old fusions, is that sometimes they just make zero sense, and I think
Yeah.
that's partly because like they were there was this one Game Boy game or whatever, or an old Yu-Gi-Oh
Yeah.
game where
Yeah.
you had these completely senseless fusions, and some of them translated over into the card game, and now you
Yeah.
have like, oh, look, I mesh Lady here and Lady there, and I get Music Man.
Yeah, I actually
Yeah.
love that about the old games. They were pretty silly and fun in that way. Alrighty, so let's look at the Magic version. It is Musician King, which is a 4 blue black for a 4/4 creature human wizard. It has fusion for 3 in a blue black hybrid, where you need 2 wizards as your material. And it says when Musician King enters, each opponent loses 1 life for each instant, sorcery, and wizard card in your graveyard. This card's great. It's so good. You're putting 2 wizards into your graveyard already, so you're giving +2 to the damage it deals. This is a fantastic finisher in your wizards deck. Cost 4 mana
The
to fusion
crescendo,
it
you
out,
might
but
say, the
yeah.
climax, you know.
Yeah. As you're building up to that part of the song. Yeah. He's awesome. He's so good. He kills your opponent so many times. This is like the last play you make in the game a lot of the time. You're either killing them immediately with this trigger, or you're putting them so low that your next attack is going to kill them. And because it's a fusion monster, it's in your side deck, and you don't have to put it in your main and, clog up your draws. You just have it as a castable fusion that will kill your opponent. It's just really, really strong. I highly recommend picking this like at a medium rate, right? If you don't have wizards, it's not as good if you don't have a lot of wizards, but it still hits them for your instants and sorceries in the graveyard, so it's still pretty reasonable. But at 6 mana, it's nowhere near as good. So if you don't have wizards, you probably don't really want to play this because you want to be able to fusion it. I love it. Your thoughts, Aaron?
Yeah, I just remember this card being played together with Dark Eradicator Warlock,
Oh,
and
so good.
yeah, that was painful because it basically meant like, oh, 3 instant sorceries, 6 life gone, and then also like next turn wizard fusing into Musician King and dome me for like another 8. You know,
So good.
it's
It's
just
so good.
yeah,
Imagine,
yes.
and then if you're playing like Esper, like black, white, blue, and you have the ephemerate card, the dimension shift card or whatever, and you just blink it after that, so it goes again. Oh my god, yeah, this card's awesome.
Also, sick Johnny Steps reference for anyone watching the anime. This ever seen Johnny Steps?
No,
No.
I'm
This is like
Johnny.
one random side character who's like a dancer and who challenges Yugi to a duel, and he summons this guy that's in the
Amazing,
anime.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
So any Johnny Steps fans out there, we made a card specifically for him.
I'm gonna give
Didn't get
this.
Merrick.
Gosh, it's so good, but it's one of those weird things where I don't first pick this, but I do pick it really highly when I'm going for wizards. It's just a really great one. It pays you off so well. It's a finisher. It kills your opponent. Um, I would go with a B. I'd just go with a B, flat B. You do pick it pretty highly, but you don't put it in any blue or black deck. I don't think it's good enough for that.
Yeah, I think like hmm. It is, yeah. Whenever you play it, you at least get like 4 life out of it. I'd say minimum,
Yeah,
um, and that is a pretty big chunk of damage. I'd give it like a C plus, honestly.
I think that's fair too.
Yeah.
But don't be afraid to pick this card. It'll kill your opponent. But yeah, it requires some setup. You got to be doing some things, right? It's not in a vacuum doing anything. So yeah, I agree. Maybe C plus is where I'm at as well.
And
Okay.
I'm sending you Johnny Steps later.
Yeah, I need to
Just so
know.
you're aware.
I need to know. All right. Next, we got Skull Knight, which is 7-star Dark Spellcaster Fusion Monster with 2650 attack and 2250 defense. You fuse Tainted Wisdom and Ancient Brain to get this card.
Hey, did you know there's a Skull Knight number 2?
Oh my god, no, stop. I don't want to know.
There is. I don't remember what it does, but I am like don't let me say this is a lie, but I am 99% sure there's a Skull Knight number 2, and it's just a regular
There's no way
monster.
it's good. There's no way it's good. I'm looking it up. Skull
No, of course not.
Knight 2. If you tribute summon a fiend type monster by tributing this monster, special summon 1 Skull Knight 2 from your deck, then shuffle your deck.
I mean, look,
it replaces
we have
itself.
One Skull Knight. We have one Skull Knight that is a fusion monster made of 2 really weird guys. And then we have Skull Knight number 2, which has no relation.
Why do they do this? It's so weird. All right, let's look at the magic card. The magic card is 3 blue black for a 4/2 creature Demon Knight. That's has fusion for 2 and a blue black hybrid. You need a blue creature and a black creature as material. Then when it enters, each opponent shuffles a card from their hand into their library, then you draw a card. Now this effect from this enters ability, is a mixture of the 2 abilities that Tainted Wisdom and Ancient Brain have. Ancient Brain draws you a card, Tainted Wisdom makes your opponent shuffle a card from their hand back into their deck. So when you put them together, you get Skull Knight, who does both. That's the idea here.
I mean, it's also wonderful that it's a brain with worms and then another brain, and they make a skeleton. I mean,
it makes perfect sense. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
it makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
He also, here's a great example of a card that pays you back for the investment you put into it. When you pay 3 mana and get those 2 creature cards, they lose a card, you draw another card. These are the kinds of things you should be looking for to make sure you have this kind of efficient plays. It's not blowing anyone out of the water with this play, but it's a nice play on turn 3. It is not bad. It is gaining value. You do not feel bad about playing this card. And when it dies, if you bring it back, replay it, it's a great value engine. I think most blue and black decks are probably going to be happy with this, but do recognize that even though that fusion cost is hybrid, the materials are a blue creature and a black creature, so it's really hard to splash this in a lot of decks. You're probably going to want to be a blue-black deck, or at least a deck that has enough hybrid cards that let you fake it, because then you could do it. And it's a great turn 3 play, so big fan of this card.
Yeah, it's definitely a good value piece, and I just it feels nice to play. It feels nice to cheat out with all the fusion matter stuff. And I also just want to point out, I'm very happy that with all the fusion monsters we have in this set, we managed to fit all of the random weirdo cards that make up the fusions into them too. Especially Tainted Wisdom and Ancient Brain. Those 2 cards are so good.
If you're wondering why some of the weird little normal monsters are in here, it's because they were fusion material for the fusion monsters we chose. So most of our fusion monsters, their materials are also in the set, and we've made sure that you can use them as materials when we were adjusting what the materials for the fusions were. Not all of them. I think there's 2 of them that don't actually work that way, but we did most of them. I think the late editions don't have it. The later edition fusions don't have that. But
because we didn't want to replace 3 cards. Probably.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
but it's awesome.
But
I think this card's a C though.
As for I suppose. Yeah, this is a nice C.
It doesn't ask a ton. It's not asking a crazy amount from you. It is a pretty nice, efficient card that you don't have to sacrifice a bunch of your gameplay to do. But it's just enough that it asks that I don't want to go crazy on it, and its impact on the board state isn't insane. It's great value, but it's a 4/2, right? So its impact on the board is not quite where some other cards might be, so I want to go C.